Hi, this is Mark from Wayward Studios, and this is the next video in our series of videos on the mechanics for our upcoming horror RPG, Horror Cinema Classics. Um, if you are coming to this video and haven't seen any of these videos before, the description and links for all of the other previous videos will be down in the description section. If you look at the Trope Token video, we explain a little bit more about the crowdfunding campaign. But again, this is a game that is based heavily off of the Dungeon Crawl Classics chassis. The core mechanics borrow heavily from that. But we have a couple different mechanics that we use to help capture that horror feel for an RPG. Um, so this video will be about the Darkness Ladder. The Darkness Ladder is one of our responses to somebody's effect or being affected by the darkness. And just a real little bit of lore drop for you. The game involves an unknown entity that we simply refer to as the darkness. This is something that is either unexplainable or could vary from table to table, but it is the overarching evil force in the world that is trying to subvert humanity and drag us all down into the depths. The counter to that is the powers that be, or simply the light. And this is this is the entity that once you become a classed character, they start guiding you and start helping you and guiding you towards those battles against the darkness. But when you're that lowly 0 level character, you've never had an encounter with the darkness before. You are just going about your daily life, and then you get thrown into the middle of a horror movie. And that is when you have your first encounter with darkness. And this is very similar to you see the darkness and the darkness sees you. And like all evil, big bad evil guys, it certainly wants to corrupt you and turn you into an agent for them. And being the tempted humans that we are, sometimes we buy into that. And that's where the Darkness Ladder comes in. So the Darkness Ladder is it's kind of a response to, it's not alignment. There's no alignments. There are no alignments in Horror Cinema Classics. Your morals are your morals, but what the Darkness Ladder does is it is a physical representation of how much of a grip this evil entity, this darkness, has on you. And to determine that, we go to a mechanic known as the gloaming dice. Every class will have a gloaming dice, and the type of die is dependent on their class. For example, those that are less spiritually connected, like, say, the survivalist, their gloaming dice start at a die 4. Characters that are more in tune with the supernatural or the spiritual side of things, say the faithful, their gloaming dice start at a die 8. And you will have a light die and a dark die. So you'll pick out 2 of your dice that represent your gloaming dice, and there'll be 2 different colored dice, or you roll one and then the other. It doesn't matter how you do it. And whenever you're asked to make a gloaming check, you're going to roll both those dice, and you're going to pair the difference between the 2. And when do you roll a gloaming dice? Well, that's when you call upon the darkness for aid. There are times when things seem lost and you have no other recourse, and you want to, get a little bit of a boost of help. You're going to call out to the darkness. Okay, you're going to tap into that darkness for aid. You're going to roll those gloaming dice. The dark die is going to represent how much of a response the darkness has, and the light die is going to represent how strongly the powers that be fight against that call to the darkness. And you're going to compare the 2 dice, and the farther disparity they are from each other, the more of a response you're going to get, one way or the other. And of course, there is a table in the rule books to show where you what the result is based on how far apart those two dice are from each other. If the darkness side, or the dark die, tends to be higher, you will start going down that darkness ladder. Okay, so you start at rung 10 and you work your way down to rung 1. Every third rung that you hit going down, you will develop a corruption, and there's a corruption table, and you will roll on the corruption table, and you'll gain that corruption. You don't gain corruptions if you start climbing back up the ladder and hit those every third one. It's only when you descend the darkness ladder that you'll draw upon a corruption. It's very similar in Dungeon Crawl Classics under Ritual Casting of Magic, that you can voluntarily take a corruption for a +2, +4, +6 bonus to your ritual roll. This is a little similar to that, although it's a little bit more random as to what's going to happen when you try to do that, because you are supposedly agents of the light, and calling upon the darkness is counterintuitive to the powers that be, their plans for you, so they fight back. If you reach that bottom rung on the darkness ladder, if you've become so corrupted and you reach that bottom rung, you are forever lost to the darkness, and you have become an agent of the darkness. You're no longer a player character. You are an NPC to be used at the whim of your director. Unless, of course, your table is, evil and diabolical and wants to have characters play at, as evil characters. That's up to you. Maybe we'll have a supplement in the future about playing evil characters, but for now, rules as written, you're an NPC at that point. And again, if you are rolling these two dice together and you're getting higher results on the light side, you'll have a chance to climb back up the rung to redeem yourself. And there would also be some in-game role-playing abilities and quests, the quest for an idea to get yourself back and more up on the higher rungs. So yeah, this is the darkness ladder. This is our response to how characters can kind of descend into darkness, being tempted by evil, because the darkness is always there. They're always ready to help you. All you got to do is call out to it. So this, for now, I think will be the last video of this series of mechanics. Unless this is the first one you're watching, then go ahead and watch the other ones. Their links are in the description below. And again, if you have not backed Horror Cinema Classics and you're still in October of 2025, the link for that will be in the description below. If you have followed us or have backed us, I thank you. And consider sharing this out to those that you think might be interested in this game. Again, I'm Mark, and I'll see you at the table.